during this festive season when demand for rice is pretty high. Stay with us. And this is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obudu. Now, every day people face different emergencies. Police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you would always want to remember. Star 770 hash. Yes, star 770 hash is a new EcoBank money emergency number. Star 770 hash gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need for you to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial star 770 hash now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and proud sponsor of Business Focus as well as Telecel. We'll turn our attention quickly now to the currency, the commodity, as well as the treasury bill fronts before we delve straight into our topic for today. So take you to the board quickly, and the price of cocoa currently is at $5,901 per ton. The price is up by some $56. Gold is at $4,439 per ounce. The price is up by $99.53. And crude oil is at $61.9 per barrel. The price is up by 1.43. We'll see how all of that pans out in the next couple of days. On the exchange front, the forex market, dollar is at 11.41, but will be sold to you at 11.42. The pound is at 15.35, sold to you at 15.36. Euro is at 30.42, sold to you at 13.44. But be guided that these figures will be much higher at a forex bureau near you. On the T-bill front, the 91-day bill is at 11.08%, 182-day bill is at 12.43%, 364-day bill is at 12.91%. It'll be interesting to see how all of this pans out in the next couple of days, especially when the Bank of Ghana is tipping inflation to drop to around 5% before the year end. Of course, meaning that Treasury bill will be more attractive based on the rate and the spread between that and inflation. We'll see if that will definitely lead to an uptake, or if investors have finally moved away entirely from T-bills into other markets. But at least we know that government has had some 2 or 3 consecutive oversubscription, move from the over 7 weeks of under subscription. But this is Business Focus here on TV3. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into our topic for today. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Focus here on TV3. My name is Michael Obodu, and just gone past were some financial tidbits from EcoBank. But then every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency number. Well, here's one you would always want to remember. Dial *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loan, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need for you to panic in any emergency situation, because EcoBank has got you. All you have to do is dial *770# now for your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank and proud sponsor of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Well, today we sit straight into our conversation for today, the issue of rice glut. Now, the Ghanaian rice industry is currently grappling with a significant economic contradiction as 2025 comes to a close. Despite achieving record-breaking domestic production levels, farmers across the country are facing a severe market glut, with over 1 million tons of locally grown rice reportedly sitting unsold in warehouses. The crisis highlights a deepening rift between the government's drive for self-sufficiency and the persistent dominance of imported rice in the local market. Tonight on Business Focus, we ask, what are the challenges and how can they be fixed for the flourishing rice industry? And to help us with the conversation in studio with me is Anthony Morrison. He is the Executive Director of the Anthony, the way I look at it. Anthony Morrison is with the Chamber of Agribusiness. Farmer. I like how you're trying to force us to accept the farmer as a title. That's your title. Okay, thank you very much. Anthony Morrison is with Farmer Anthony Morrison. Thank you. Anthony, calm down. Farmer Anthony Morrison is with the Chamber of Agribusiness. Also joining us is an agric economist, Dr. Felix Esilfi, over the phone to also pick his thoughts on this particular issue. But Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. It's good to have you on the show. First off, we have a glut. What's happening?
Well, thank you very much, and let me say a very good evening to your cherished viewers and all farmers out there, especially rice farmers, whose efforts and endurance and perseverance is going to put food on our table this Christmas. We have actually been doing the Ghana Rice Week for the past 6 days, and we're finishing tomorrow at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Well,
okay.
From the perspective,
so you've basically been championing Ghana rice as much as possible. I will see how all of that pans out. We'll probably talk about that. It'll be important to also understand what the demand really is, and what the challenges also are with selling the Ghana rice. But then let me speak briefly to Dr. Esilfi Felix, who's an agroeconomist. First off, Doc, thank you so much for your time. I'll just pick your initial thoughts. From an economic perspective, where do we sit right now when it comes to local rice production? Hello, Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Perfect. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Good evening to your cherished viewers, and then good evening to yourself. Michael, I will start by giving some brief kind of statistics. Now, it is projected that for the year 2025-2026, that is from now eating into next year, demand for rice in terms of local demand is going to be 1.8 million metric tons. And as it stands now, as a country, we're able to meet 50% of that. In this case, that is 900,000 metric tons thereabouts. Now,
Doc, did you say demand for local rice or demand for rice? Just to understand what you're...
Overall demand.
Overall demand. Okay, demand. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes. Overall demand is around 1.8 million metric tons. And the local production, in this case, production of local rice meets 50% of that. So in this case, you could see that over the years, as a country, we have been able to make some sort of improvement or progress as far as production of local rice is concerned. So it is a call on government to be able to protect the successes that we have chalked over the years by ensuring that a system is put in place to give a ready market for our local farmers. Now, What is happening now, I mean, in basic economics, there is something called water diamond paradox. It's a paradox because something that is very essential to the economy, we seem to pay little attention to. And then something that is not really much important, you see that as a nation, we waste our time and resources on that. And that is not good for our farmers. I consume local rice. And I prefer local rice because in terms of its quality, it's very, very good. In terms of the nutritious value, the nutrient value and all of that. So as a country, we are rather causing more harm to ourselves than doing good to ourselves by creating a situation whereby local farmers are able to put in much of their effort, improve their production efficiencies, and give us the best of output they can, and there is no system in place to protect them, simply because there is less education, to encourage local farmers, local consumers to be able to patronize or consume local rice. And also, government is also not putting some sort of a policy in place to reduce, importation and then improve or kind of giving the local farmers the assurance that there's going to be a ready market. Now, if we're able to produce, 50% of what we need as a nation, then it behoves on government to ensure that 50% that we are able to produce is sustained and even improved progressively over the years. So I think as a nation, we are not doing good to ourselves by making farmers produce and there's no market for them. It discourages them and therefore it's going to affect next year's production.
You talk about government intervention in the market and also about securing a market for these farmers. But I'll come back to you on that because I'd want Anthony to also respond to that, because we know that government had, the president, to be specific, had given a directive for what's the program, the school feeding program to have only locally produced rice supplied to them for that, and some other security services, I believe, in the country. But Anthony, how's that policy really faring so far?
Well, thank you very much, and very good evening to your cherished viewers once again. Starting from your statement, I think I also want to commend the President, His Excellency, for doing a yeoman's job, to showing leadership when the time actually called for. And I want to particularly also say a big thank you to the First Lady. This Christmas Rice Ghana Week we're doing, she's been very helpful. She's bought a lot of rice. And I told you that,
a lot of rice.
yeah,
how much did she buy?
I told you this morning when you came, I said, look, between Wednesday last week and today, we sold close to 7,000 bags.
7,000 bags?
I'm telling you.
So then that means that the demand is there?
The issue is about accessibility. Now, and we're going to have time so that I take viewers and listeners through the actual context of the Ghana's rice situation, so that we get to understand where we need to go as a country, where we are not doing right, what ought to be done right, the regulatory regime, and most especially the financing aspect, so that we get to understand. Now, if you look at Ghana imports from Thailand, India, Vietnam, and if you look at the landing rate per milled rice and paddy rice, just as Doc has earlier on alluded, and I think Doc's statement should have been that not the projected, but this is what we have been doing over the past 5 years. We do 1.8 to 1.9 million metric tons in terms of consumption, annual consumption. And our national production capacity, just as he said, which is right, is 800 to 900,000 metric tons. In fact, at a point, we got to 1 million. Now, as we speak this year, December, as we are speaking, we are close to 1.6 million tons in terms of rice importation. And let me be clear here.
1.6 million.
I'm telling you.
That's against the about 900 that we are producing locally.
In fact, what we do have in country now, with regards to last year's production and this year's production, we are working towards almost 2 million. So, and let me be clear here. I want to be very emphatic, and everybody out there should listen. The current situation was not caused as a result of overproduction or any strategic national policy or government's investment in Ghana's rice sector. But is as a result of negligence, failure to go with data. Policy must be informed by the right data to inform when, quantity, and what should come in at what time.
But just by assessing the numbers you've mentioned, it explains the glut then. If you're producing 900,000 and then you were importing 1.6, like you are saying, that's in excess already. If your average consumption is about 1.8, that puts you 900 plus 1.6 puts you at 2.5 million metric tons. That's excess.
Yes, but the point here is that last year's production and this year's production have not been touched as much.
Wow. So it's even worse.
Yes. And the worst of it is that the then government decided to put a grain ban. So ideally, our Nigeria counterparts who would have taken advantage of the ECOWAS protocol because of the rules of origin would have come to mop up the paddies, are no longer buying the paddies.
Now, there was also the challenge that they were buying so much paddy that there was no rice for the millers.
Okay, so that was actually for the soya.
For soya.
With regards to excess exports to China. So that was for the soya. So the soya, we're not having a lot of soya to process and get the soya cake or the soya meal for the poultry farmers. Now, but with the rice, I think that clearly as a country, we need to begin to take data very seriously. If we had data last year showing when the new harvest season was going to come on board, showing to the minister or the government at the time and the cabinet that before you issue license or permit for anyone to go out there and import rice, the person should know when he can bring that rice in and not when we are about to harvest. Because then you are making the farmers more poorer because they can't sell their rice to the millers and the millers process to the consumers.
But some also argue that wouldn't that be disenfranchising consumers because...
Are we here to protect importers or we are here to protect farmers of Ghana?
Because it is perceived that the local rice is relatively more expensive than local rice, even though the quality are of same. But I understand Doc wants to react to something that you've been saying. Anthony, hold on.
Okay.
So Doc, what do you have to say to this? He's talking about regulating the import of rice. However, there's the issue of pricing. How do we balance this?
So, first of all, in terms of agreeing, I agree with my colleague at the studio there that some policies ought to be put in place to protect our local farmers. But I think the approach he proposed is what I have a challenge with.
Okay.
You cannot dictate to an importer. You know, that one will also be detrimental to the businessmen.
But the truth is, at what point do we grab the bull by the horn if we want to fix this country?
So here, this is my proposal, and here I have actually written a paper on it, and it is currently at the review at the Federal Journal. It will be published very soon. Now, in all other parts of the world, we import because of comparative advantage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where that is commodities that you don't have the strength to produce locally, it's what you import. Now here, gone are the days our local production was far below. But over the years, there has been progressive improvement. So what I propose to the government in terms of this current administration is that they should make it a bit difficult for importation of foreign rice. In other words, is it the tariff that will be increased or whatever? When it happens, that automatically at the market, the price of the foreign or the imported rice will be much expensive as compared to the local one. And that will actually force the ordinary consumers, as sensible as they are, as rational as they are, to go in for the local one. That is the first thing.
Okay.
Now, what we are talking about here is also about value chain and supply chain kind of problem. Now, the supply chain looks at the supply. Here we have been able to produce. They are in the banks of the farmers. It's not able to get to the cities. So nobody even knows that we have local rice in existence, especially for this important Christmas festivity that is coming. You understand? Now, at the same time, to value chain is also a problem. Value chain actually triggers the demand because we have developed taste. Let us not run away from that. There is a taste developed by the ordinary Ghanaian or the Ghanaian consumer over the years for imported rice. Simply because at that time, the importers took advantage of our inability to produce enough to feed the local demand. And so as a result of that, our taste has actually been improved. So in marketing, there's something called benchmarking. What can we do as a nation to ensure that we actually process our locally produced rice to have much similar taste.
I don't know if,
And
Anthony will agree with you on the taste bit, because I think that from at least the feedback I've gotten from average consumers, the local rice tastes as good as imported ones, if not better. I'm not sure about the taste, but Anthony.
Well, let me just put some few words out there for the point here is that what we are consuming in terms of imported rice sometimes it's about as 5 to 10 years old.
Okay.
Two, when you look at the difference between the local rice and the Ghana rice, now a lot of our women
Imported and Ghana.
sorry, the Ghana rice and the imported. I love to use Ghana rice, not the local rice. Okay, so the Ghana rice and the imported. You realize that the imported one is very white. Okay, and when you cook it, it's a bit separated. Now the point here is that because they have done over polishing, they have removed all the protein, they have removed all the starch. So what you are actually consuming is just food, no nutritional value. Now the reason why the Ghana one, you see, and because they also cure it, so by curing they have to put it down for a number of years so that they are able to kill any active organisms.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we don't have the time to cure because our food are supposed to be produced from. We're trying to take advantage not to use a lot of holding system that will add more value before it gets to the market.
Yeah.
So we produce, it goes to the processing and it goes to market. Now, if you look at ours, it's starchy. The reason why it's starchy is because we haven't cured by leaving it down for number of years.
So that means the moisture content will be higher in the local one than the...
Yeah, we do have moisture content, but then a lot of technologies now have been added into our processing value chain. So you have the dryer, and we go into the sorter. Then you go to the full milling, the whitening. We also do whitening, but we don't do excessive polishing.
Okay.
Okay. The polishing is what makes it white, and we do the color separator, and we do the destoner, and do everything.
So it's basically the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
But the excessiveness because of the attractiveness, that is what you see.
Fair point.
Marketing,
face value. Let's make progress. What about the taste?
The taste is fantastic. You can't compare. I mean, you were on the ground. They were cooking Ghana rice. You could smell it. Yeah, very far apart. Okay. Now I think
so. It means that you also grow perfumed rice.
Yes, we have jasmine here. Okay, we have Esbika, we have Agra, we have some people are even doing Togo Machal in the Oti region. So we have all these
So
varieties.
if your rice is this
Fantastic
good, why
rices.
are you having glut?
No, the glut, and I've said it, the glut is not as a result of we doing overproduction.
But my point, Anthony, is that if the product is good, people will buy it anyway above the important one. Don't you agree? Or farmers are not doing something right?
This was what happened. At a point when Ghanaians were complaining that the Ghana rice was cheaper, we decided to import the various machines and we were able to produce the quality. This year, the government procured Ghana rice and donated it to Jamaica, Cuba, and Sudan.
Okay.
We have received feedback of how they love Ghana rice. I'm telling you, you can call the soldiers who are there now, how people are talking about Ghana rice.
So maybe we should consider exporting more of that.
So now,
we have to go for a break. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Business Focus here on TV3. We're continuing our conversation on Ghana rice and the issue of glut. But some messages have come through. And Anthony, thank you for staying with us. I want to read this so that you can respond to this. Now, if the rice is not palatable, we won't buy. If it's not clean or well packaged, we won't buy. If we cook it and it turns mushy or it's hard as stone, we won't buy. Simpliciter. Ghanaian entrepreneurs should learn how to add value. That is one of our biggest issues in the production chain. And that's from one of our viewers, Deborah Mensah, raising some concerns. You have said that...
I think that person is an importer. He should come. He or she should come. I'll give her rice every day to cook and give me feedback. I'm promising her. Every week, if she wants rice, I'll give her 5 kg. She should cook and give me feedback of different types of rice. Look, let me tell you, this is one of the rice I brought to the studio. This was what went to Jamaica. His Excellency sent to Jamaica and is doing well. This is another rice. We're talking about high quality.
The control room are listening to you.
High quality rice.
We are talking
highly packaged. Okay, we are serious about Ghana rice. You know,
I have to give you a bill for showing your rice.
This is from Olam's, okay? Mama Gold, another solid rice. No. You see, we are all Ghanaians and we have to be serious. This is brown rice, one of the highest quality brown rice. Okay? And I'm going to show you another rice from Volta region. Efie, right? These are high quality professors. This week's program, no less than 30 professors and over 40 PhD from University of Ghana have come to buy Ghana rice for their workers, and they are scrambling for Ghana rice. And you are out there and telling me that you know more. Look, call Professor.
Calm down. Maybe they don't know. You are now
Professor Roger Canton.
Hold on.
He came and did analysis of 17 rice
grades. They are still
grades.
watching Business Focus here on TV. I should give you a bill for showing the rice. And
I just want to prove to Ghanaians.
All right.
Don't
So
worry.
you've proven. Calm down.
But we have a lot. We have the champion rice.
Fair point. So the rice is good. Like from what you're saying, it's packaged just like imported ones. So there's no difference. The quality, like from what you are showing, the packaging,
the quality is good.
Superlative. Dr. Sophie, you want to say something?
I don't think the issue of palatability and attractiveness is, it's much of a concern here. Look, Michael, I consume local rice. In my kitchen currently, I have a 25 kilo bag of local rice. I stopped consuming foreign or imported rice almost about 2-3 years ago. And I tell you, the type I consume is the best I have ever seen in terms of quality. When you cook, how attractive it looks. Look, Michael, are you aware that some even importers buy local rice and bag them in bags, in brands that are purported to be, imported rice in this country? That is why I agree with my colleague at the studio there that data is of much concern when we come to planning in terms of policy making around this particular arena or sector. Now, look, in terms of varietal seed technologies, much of research has been done. He mentioned Agra, Jasmine, 85, that is the Ghana and the rest. They are there. And most of them have almost same quality as the imported rice. The concern here is government commitment to create the enabling environment for farmers to have, readily available market for them to be able to sell their commodities. And that is one of the main reasons, or one of the main reasons for which the buffer stock company was created is this. If the ordinary Ghanaian consumer is not buying, now the farmers have been able to produce. It is lying down in their banks. They don't have buyers. And then their capitals are locked up. Government ought to step in as a matter of urgency and buy from them. Hold them at the buffer stock company. CSHS is there. Now, the delay also in the release of the contract for the award letters for suppliers is also causing this much problem.
Okay, Doc, please hold on a second for me. We spoke to one consumer. Doc, can you hear me? Doc, so we spoke to one consumer of local rice, also to get feedback on really how good this rice is. So, one gentleman who's also a regular consumer of local rice. We'll take a listen to what he has to say and get back to you.
My experience with the rice is pretty good. The quality is good. And when cooked, it comes out very nicely. Depending on what you want to use it for, whichever way you want it, it comes out nicely. But my problem is with the pricing. The pricing seems a little high for made in Ghana rice. In my opinion, made in Ghana rice should be around 250 per bag for everybody to be able to purchase. Comparatively to what comes from outside, we are doing very well. And grain quality is well polished. It's gone are the days when you'll be chewing stones and stuff like that. But for now, I think the only problem the purchasers, the buyers have is the pricing. We think the price must come down since it's being processed here in Ghana.
All right, so feedback there from a regular consumer of Ghana rice. The taste is good. Then there are no concerns really with it. Anthony, just so you know, the viewer has texted that she will come for her rice. So hopefully you make it available.
Tomorrow, University of Ghana.
Okay.
She should come with her friends and families. We are cooking the Ghana rice jollof, and she will taste the best Ghana rice jollof with the Ghana rice.
Fair point.
Michael,
Now you're advertising jollof too. Okay, so Doc, quickly before you come in, we also spoke to dealers of the rice to pick their thoughts really on what their challenges are with selling the rice. Let's listen to them and then we'll come back to you.
Sure.
So far, so good. It's been good. Like people are coming in, they are getting to know the products. Some know already, so they come and get their Christmas rice. They bought a lot. They bought quite a number. They say it's delicious. Me like this, I have personal customers that came in from outside, but they come and get the rice because it's nice. They love it. It has this good feeling, like this Ghanaian rich feeling, very fresh. It's a fresh rice. The pricing is bad. Like comparing it to the foreign rices, you can see that the Ghana rice is a bit high. Yeah, so if the government can put in some price regulations, it would help a lot.
We will get the best price which is available in Ghana. It is comparable with the best available quantities, much better than those. It's totally grown and milled in Ghana. That is what the concept is, sir. People basically are reluctant to buy Ghana rice just because of they don't feel it may be a good rice, because they have been eating the imported rice for the last so many years. They basically hesitate, but when I have to push it, they buy.
The government has to do more on local products to be patronized by the Ghanaian consumers, because I think we are doing our best as a company, but the government needs to do more, and also the media engagement must be very, 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 very proactive, so that at the end of it all, what we are all waiting for, pushing for local product, patronizing local product will be something that will be achieved by everybody.
They are complaining that our rice is very expensive because of the price. They are not purchasing for us. So we want government to do something about our farming. It's really, really affecting us. 6 months they have not sold anything. I think it's very nice. It's very good, but just because of the price. So maybe next time we should do something about the price. But it's really good.
So here there's some rice dealers basically expressing their concern with the selling of the rice. The demand, the interest is there. However, how to drive the demand further, and also the issue of pricing are some of the key issues that they've raised. But then, Doc, in 30 seconds, briefly, your final take on the way forward.
Okay, so I think I agree 150% with the recording that you played. Now, my point is about the cost of production. All that they are saying, the price is about the cost of production.
Yeah.
In Ghana here, every subsidy is on fertilizer, and I think that is a lazy man's approach. There are other aspects of agriculture and some types of input that Ghanaian rice farmers need equally as compared to the fertilizer. So government ought to put in measures to reduce the cost of production of farmers, and that will actually inure to the pricing at the end of the day. Again, government also ought to look at the importation. There is a way the government can calibrate the import tariff to make it less attractive for the importation. And even if they are imported, the price will be much higher as compared to the local.
Okay.
And now, as rational consumers, they will actually drift towards the consumption of the local.
All right, Doc, thank you so much. Anthony, 30 seconds.
Well, it's time Ghana invests into their fertilizer factory.
Okay.
We are flaring up a lot of gases. We are using close to $600 million annually to import fertilizer, soil boosters, soil correctors, whatever. It's time Ghana as a country begin to give quota system. If you are a rice importer and you are importing 50,000 metric tons per annum, government tells you import 90% and 10% is from Ghana. The next year you reduce to 40%, 30%, and 20% from Ghana. This is the only way we can work. And I've told you this morning that look, every country have set up their National Agriculture and Food Import and Export Council. That is what is used as a structure to regulate food importation, because they know with data, raw material availability in country and the demand. This is the reason why the chairman has been calling for a national data on agriculture. The sector is now a big sector. It requires a regulator, and we need to make sure that we are supporting the poor farmers and developing the rural economy.
Thank you so much. Anthony Morrison is the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness. Also joining us via phone was Dr. Felix Larry Isufri, agroeconomist. And that'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus here on TV3. For more business stories, please check out our website, s3news.com/business. Thank you so much for watching, and catch you same time next week. As always, please stay safe.
Thank you.
Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel,